As I sit here writing this letter about my great Grammy, I can hardly believe it's been 2 months since she was promoted to glory. My precious boy Seamus, great Grammy's great-great-grandson, is sleeping in the cradle that she bought almost 30 years ago for her great-grandson to sleep in. Seamus was born just 2 weeks and a day after she passed away. How I wish that she could have met him. I know how much she would have adored him. The boys have always been her favorite. Back in August, when Rory and I were in Spokane for a couple of weeks, I was able to spend time with her at home. She was able to know that I was carrying her first great-great-grandchild. One day, Aaron and I were in her room with her, and he was standing at the head of her bed and I was sitting on it beside her. He mentioned the baby shower for my baby boy that was coming up, and she said, "Who's having a baby?" Aaron motioned to me and I smiled and said, "I am, Grammy." And she smiled broadly and patted her frail hand on my round belly. And she said, "Well, I was going to say," and we all chuckled as she told me how happy she was that it was a boy. As Seamus grows up, I plan on telling him all about his great-great-grandma. I look forward to the bowls of gurt that we'll share as I tell him how she loved that oh-so-good rice pudding, whether it was hot or cold. I can't wait to play with him in the snow and show him how my great-Grammy knocked me down with snowballs when I was a tiny girl, and how her famous catchphrase, "Baby, it's cold outside," could be heard through the house when she came inside from the cold. And when we come inside from the cold, I look forward to snuggling with him on the couch under one of her cozy Afghan blankets and telling him stories of how I would help great-Grammy trim the fringe after she'd finish up the knitting, and how the pattern that he sees on the blanket over him was the one that she knew by heart and would knit over and over again even after her eyesight became poor. I chuckle at myself now when Seamus fusses because he's tired or just feeling kind of cranky, and an empathetic, "Aw, bless his heart," comes out of my mouth. Great-Grammy said this so much that all of us family jokingly say it to each other, but she really was genuine. Her heart was always concerned with others. And throughout my growing up, Great-Grammy always lived with us, and no matter what sort of day I had had, I knew her room was open to me, to come in and just relax with her. Her stories of growing up in Chicago or learning to drive in San Francisco always made me smile. I cherish the privilege it has been to be so close with my great-grandmother. She was so graceful and wise, and I've learned more about life and the Lord through her love and life than I could have ever learned on my own. She embodied what it meant to be a beautiful woman of God, and I'm grateful for her example of compassion, forgiveness, and grace. As my family grows through the years, it won't be untouched by Great-Grammy's foods, the Swedish meatballs and birthday tacos, by the scents of White Shoulder's perfume and Vicks Vapor Rub that make me think of her, and by all of the stories and memories that I hold so dear. When I come home for Christmas, I know I will feel the void that she's left a little bit greater, but I will find such joy and peace in knowing that she's gone home to be with the good Lord, as she would say. I miss her and love her, and I'm so thankful to God for the life that she lived.